Hi everybody, it's Ann Kaplan from Mommy, your mama resource from conception to college. So pumped to be with you guys this week, talking about fear. What I really wanted to name the theme of this week is don't do it, do it. And on Wednesdays, today's Wednesday, I like to talk to you guys about pregnancy, birth, and newborn baby stuff. This is my baby mama day. And what do I want to talk about when it comes to fear and birth and pregnancy? You guys have heard me talk about this in terms of anxiety and stuff like this, but I want to dig a little bit deeper with you guys today. And we know scientifically, it's not for debate, it's not just some like tutti frutti, airy fairy, like natural hippie crunchy granola theory about birth. We know scientifically that your emotional state affects the way that your labor progresses. It affects birth outcomes. That's wild, but it's not really wild. We talk about the mind-body connection all the time in all parts of life. And of course, nowhere is it more powerful than during labor. So, of course, your mental state is going to affect the way that your birth goes. And fear especially is a huge, major labor killer. And why is that? It's partly emotional. It's partly because when you're afraid, you're really tense, you can't relax, you're anticipating things hurting worse, and because you're anticipating it and because you're super tense, it really does hurt worse, and that makes it really hard for you to cope with your labor and all that stuff. We've talked about that before. Today, I want to talk about the actual biological, chemical, scientific reason of what's going on in your body that makes fear totally mess up your labor. So, hugely, super quick crash course for you guys in labor hormones. There's a million hormones that are going on in our bodies all the time, and labor is definitely no exception. But the major three hormones we talk about when we talk about birth are oxytocin, endorphins, and adrenaline. And oxytocin is the love hormone. You've probably heard about it a million times, even if you don't have a baby, if you never want to have a baby. Oxytocin is the hormone you feel that's released in your body when you have an orgasm, when you have a super interesting conversation with somebody, when you meet someone for the first time, when someone gives you a hug, and it is the hormone that makes you have contractions and go into labor. How amazing is nature that the same hormone that was present to make you get pregnant most of the time is the same hormone that is in charge, is the boss hormone when you're in labor. Oxytocin. It's a love hormone, and it's what makes you fall in love with your baby when your baby comes out. Oxytocin is super important. It's a thing that makes you have contractions. It's a thing that governs your labor. The other thing that happens when you're in labor is you get endorphins. Endorphins are like your body's natural opiate. It's what helps you rise to the occasion when you're in labor because it helps you let go, surrender, get into your monkey mind, get out of your headspace mind, and let yourself surrender to the process. And also, it actually changes. The more endorphins you have in your body, the more different your contractions actually feel to you. Endorphins are basically like an opiate in your body. And endorphins are what you feel, forget about being pregnant, endorphins are what you feel when you have a runner's high. When you're running or exercising and you just get that euphoric feeling from exercise, that's endorphins. So we want oxytocin and endorphins to be going like crazy through your body the whole time that you're in labor. But what happens when you're afraid? What happens when you're scared? What happens when you feel anxious or you don't believe you can do it, or someone comes into your birthing space and treats you in a way that makes you feel a little bit nervous or anxious? Your body releases the hormone adrenaline, the fight or flight hormone, the hormone that's released in your body when you feel scared and threatened. And when you feel scared and threatened and your body releases adrenaline, guess what happens? Because adrenaline has the exact opposite effect on your labor that oxytocin and endorphins have. Adrenaline stops your labor. Adrenaline can actually stop your labor, you guys. Adrenaline can make it so that you're still having contractions, but they're not actually doing anything anymore. You're just having a lot of discomfort without actually moving closer to meeting your baby. Adrenaline is like a labor killer. Adrenaline is the chemical of fear. And that is why it's so important when you're pregnant and anticipating a birth that you really face your fears, that you acknowledge when you have fears and do things to temper those fears as much as you possibly can before you're in labor and while you're in labor, because you don't want adrenaline to be running the show at your birth. Because once adrenaline takes hold, we need a lot of help to keep things going. We need a lot of help to get you back on track, okay? So that is the chemistry fascinating to me anyway, about how labor works and why it is so incredibly important for you to pick a place to have your baby and a team to support you in having your baby that's going to help you feel confident, comfortable, able to surrender, super safe, because we don't want those fear hormones coming in. We don't want adrenaline coming in and nixing your labor. I hope that's helpful to you guys, because fear is a huge part of why we do the things we do and what governs us, even if we don't want it to be. So knowing that is power. Knowing that fear can be the thing that gets in the driver's seat is power to you guys to make a choice and say, there's the only thing stopping me from having the birth I want, from going for it in labor or going for it in anything in my life, is my fear. So put your energy into eradicating that fear, because then you are truly unstoppable, whether it's about birth or parenting or anything else in this world. I hope that's helpful for you guys. I can't wait to talk to you guys again tomorrow, where I'm going to be talking about fear-based parenting, which we all do, even though we don't want to. What can we do about it? How can we recognize it? And why is it so bad? Okay? Have an amazing week, you guys. I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Bye.